Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dreaming Temple. It's been a little while, and it's nice to see ya. I see a few folks in the chat hanging out. Thank you for joining. Today, I'm thinking a lot about the intersection between energy and the healing and the wellness community and the magical community, the pagans, the witches, and specifically really honing in on the similarities between something like sex magic and something like energy work, even something like Reiki or spinal energetics. What is the energy that's being manipulated? What do you think it is? And do you think that it is different or similar or the same as the energy that we're applying towards something like manifestation or ritual, intention work, spell casting? What's the difference there? So this is where my mind has been at for a little while, but today I really wanted to bring it to the table. And I know that today we're meeting and we're talking about body magic, which is exactly what we do here, is body magic. We're manipulating the energies in our field. You can visualize your field like you can call it your auric field. Plenty of people refer to it as an aura. In my work, we refer to it as a biofield, which is, kind of a less woo terminology for the aura, and it's scientifically recognized. So you can say biofield, but when we remove the name tag, what is it? It's the same thing. It's a bubble of your personal atmosphere. So yes, we are all connected through a unified field, you could say. But then we each have our personal atmosphere. And what is existing within your personal atmosphere but your stories, history, emotions, memory? There's plenty of people these days, I'll let you in on this. There's plenty of people these days who suspect that our memories are not actually stored up here in ye olde noggin, and that they're actually stored invisibly, you could say, in this auric field, biofield. It's really like your electromagnetic bubble, right? And it can protect you. It can be fortified and it can protect you from different types of disturbances. So on the outside of the field, you've got like a membrane, right? So that's why I'm calling it a bubble. We use words to describe these things, but really it's through experiencing that we can start to feel it. Yeah, electromagnetic artifacts. Lilith is an awesome way to put that, for sure. So once you start to experience these things and sense into them for yourself, then you can feel it, you can smell it, you can see it, all the things. And I'm just using the best words I can possibly use to explain the things that we experience, right? And we're coming back to magic and we're coming back to energy, but I want us to have like a really clear idea about what we're doing here. So when we're working with the tuning forks, we're manipulating this energy that is both outside and within this field, right? And since we're meeting as a group together, what we're really doing, or what I'm really doing, is creating an amalgam of all of us collectively, everyone who's here now, everyone who intends to be here in the future. And it's almost like projecting an energetic, like, hologram. I almost visualize like being in the holodeck and I'm like, boop, pull up this month's group. And then we work with the themes that seem to be presenting more dominantly collectively, right? So when we all get together and we start using the forks, then different things will present for the collective. So what is it? Like, what, we're waving tuning forks in the air, we're receiving messages. You guys are clearly also feeling it and experiencing it because you tell me every month. And I've worked with hundreds of clients as well who tell me every single session the experience that they're having. You guys see colors, you see textures, you experience emotions. Some of you visualize like full-on experiences behind your eyelids during this work. There's a plethora of ways that you can experience it. But what is it that's happening? Do we call it, you know, we can stay super scientific about it, obviously, and we can call it energy. And we can talk about how human beings are electrical and our organs and our cells all are electrical. Our thoughts and our emotions are electrical. And everything that has electricity then emits its own electromagnetic field. So then it has its own bubble, right? It's got its own field. Just like we have our own collective field or our own personal field, then every cell has a field. Every organ has a field, right? So you're kind of seeing this invisible world that's kind of presents through the work. So what I'm really thinking about, because this is body magic. Body magic is, for one, it's getting to be human and really appreciating what that can mean for us to get to experience the good and the bad, the full spectrum of what it is to be human, and how much of that might have to do with really obvious stuff like our energy and our life force and our light and our very unique signature that we each carry. Like, we all have our unique expressions of the one, right? So when we're working with this energy, I prefer to see it as magic. Okay, so I don't really, I understand the idea of using energy work for wellness and really focusing in on healing. Obviously, that's what we're doing. But because I see this so deeply as magic, and I see it so deeply as something that each of us is capable of doing when we learn how to live magically, I really would like to empower everybody here to also potentially kind of like see what we're doing in this way. So I took some notes, and I'm going to give myself a couple minutes before we get into the work today to just go through some notes that I have to help me stay on track, because y'all know I be getting tangential sometimes. So I kind of defined magic in my notes as very loosely as when something is changed without understanding the underlying force. So there's sometimes we have this like mysterious element to magical workings, and we just call it magic. We kind of separate ourselves from the result, and we almost like give away the power of it to a word and just kind of like toss it up into the air almost, if that makes sense. So what is energy then? Well, I'm loosely defining energy as the capacity for work. Okay, so the capacity for work. So when we're looking at like the energies of our bodies, we have like a lot going on. We're doing a lot. We aren't usually thinking about what our body's doing, and we may not be like actively manipulating the things that our body is actively doing, but the energies of our bodies are affected by our urges and our activities, whether or not we're like consciously aware of it. So one thing to practice, because, you know, I love to talk about cultivating deep awareness. That's like another part of the reason we're here, is because all of us are curious how to cultivate that deeper sense of awareness so we can tune in to this information and start to understand what it means for us. So if our energies are affected by our urges and activities, then that would suggest to me that maybe we have like some element of control, or we can empower ourselves to almost like decide what gets to change our energy. Instead of just throwing it up into the air like magic and saying, oh, this happened, then we can say, oh, this happened, but I'll bet I can do something about it. And so that's something we can do as we start to learn more about body magic. And body magic is like not only understanding the auric field or the biofield, the chakras, obviously, something most people are familiar with. The meridians, if you saw my recent little 2-minute video on meridians, I gave like a very beginner's basic intro to meridians, but you know, you've got like hundreds of points on your body that give you access into these deeper meridian line systems that run to your organs and other physiological systems. So they're constantly like helping hygienically to make sure that your body is working as optimally as possible, right? So potentially these things are here to work for us, not just work in the background. Like your chakras are actually hard drives. That's like a way that I sometimes visualize them. They're hard drives in your system. So they're super cool, super fun to work with, because you can rewrite patterns and override some of the information on those drives through working with body magic. And we do that with tuning forks here also. Sometimes we'll end up being drawn to work in a particular chakra. And I don't really know, because I don't plan that ahead of time. We just see what happens. I'm talking now about this. Who knows what we'll get into when I bust out the forks. Okay, so I want to talk about a few theorems, magical theorems, that I feel will resonate with a lot of us. And hard reset me, baby. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to go over a couple magical theorems. These are inspired from old school magicians. And I'm going to kind of like go through how they possibly relate to energy work and sound healing. So the first theorem that I have here is All actions have magical reactions. Thanks, Taz. So, contrary to popular belief, magic is taking place all the time. And I think everybody here realizes that. I'm pretty sure that's why we're here together now. We're going to go deeper. So, it kind of functions like Newton's third law, right? And which would state that all actions have a reaction. Now, I'm not saying any of this is 100% fact. I'm not saying like take my word for it. I'm just flossing and waxing poetically with the resources that I have so we can explore other ways of seeing things and experiencing life. I think that it's good for us to be empowered, and there's a lot of wisdom here. So if we're looking into Newton's third law, which states that all actions have a reaction, it's the magician who realizes that everything we do has a result. So when we live magical lives, when we are magical people, then we are aware that what we're doing has a result, which kind of empowers us to then make better choices and to affect things more intentionally instead of being kind of like held hostage to our life experiences. So, oh, and then side note I have here, this is actually one of the major reasons that a lot of people get into magic and then they kind of get frustrated and they're like, they feel like they failed and they give up. There can be other reasons too, but this is a big one, I think. And they'll spend, a little bit of time in ritual and then spend the whole rest of the day in the opposite mindset. So, what are we going to work in our magic if we're in one mindset for a moment in ritual, and then the rest of the day is like in an opposite mindset? So, this also sounds really familiar if you're into just like straight up manifestation stuff, right? It's the same thing. It's like a mindset situation and how you attach to the intentions that you put into play is one aspect of that. And magic isn't something that we do. It can be. But as magicians, magic isn't something that you do. It is something that you are. It's something that you become through practice. And I definitely urge all of us to find one thing that you really love that is a form of expression for you and joy, something that feels magical and that you want to explore more, and then commit to doing that every day until it becomes a part of who you are and it's a part of your expression and how you put yourself out into the world. And that's what it is when you start to work with body magic. You become the things that you're working, right? Because we each have our own specific things that will present for us. What presents for one isn't going to present for another. And so we're addressing these things and we're changing them and we're moving things. We're moving energy. The first rule of energy is that it has to move. So we're moving lots of energy. We're keeping things flowing. And ultimately through practice, ideally you're doing something every day. It could be yoga. It could be meditation. It could be painting. It could be music, writing, dancing, singing, something in the art, the craft realm that brings us like real beautiful joy. Okay, so moving on. Magic requires the creation, manipulation, and direction of magical energy. So this one I kind of broke down because the nature of magical energy is threefold. It's psychosexual, spiritual. But I want us to see this and feel this as if we're talking about wellness. And until we are understanding that there's like, like there's no slash between space time. There's no slash between like magic and wellness or magic and energy work. Like there's this weird woo concept where it's like, oh, like that's that. And like, oh, magic is taboo. But these things are really important for us as humans. And so the more that we understand them, the more that we can access that part of ourselves instead of letting people in power take them away from us and sweep them under the rug so that we're just laying there crying helpless. Like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Well, we have tools. And just little baby steps tools are going to be better than nothing at all. So since the nature of magic energy is threefold: psychosexual, spiritual. First one is psychological. So that means that it has to be controlled by the mind in some way. That energy is there all the time, but we can't really access it and apply it until we're aware of it and we know how to use it. Emotions can play a really important role in the psychological nature of magical energy. Being happy or sad, angry or loving can affect how well we all, you and me, manipulate the energy. So this is like the psychological part of the formula of nature of magical energy. For magic to succeed, it is kind of important that we have a positive attitude. If you don't think that your magic is going to work, then guess what, buddy? It's not going to work. These patterns, these thought forms, these like limitations that we put on things are super, super powerful, incredibly powerful. It's really difficult to overpower them. So through really honing in on our magic, our daily practices, and our commitment to ourselves to do better and be better every day, to kind of like take on a more positive attitude about what we are capable of, the power that we all do individually and collectively carry within us, it's going to change so many things. And, even if you feel like you're lying to yourself, like, I'm just going to say, who cares if you feel like you're lying to yourself? Okay, that's telling me something else is going on here, because we should all be able to step into this positive mental attitude about our personal capabilities and feel good about that. So if we can adopt a more positive attitude, then it'll definitely give us greater access to our desires and less failed, chaotic results, because a lot of us want our rituals to provide the intended results and not like surprise, chaotic results, right? So through practice, we can get better at that. And then the second part of the trifold is the sexual aspect. And this is kind of what really inspired me to focus on this today. And I'm going to try and get through this. So I'll try not to get too tangential, but I will explain that. So I'm not talking about the sexes of sexual activity, talking about the energies. These energies that run through our bodies and are strongly, like incredibly affected by sexual urges and activity. So, I wonder where this energy comes from, right? Where does it just show up out of nowhere? And then it's like, bam, orgasm. Or is it around and we're able to manipulate and build it and put it into different places? So I wonder about that. And we can consider them male and female. We've got the yin and the yang in nature. We've got order and chaos. We've got also, like the electrical way of looking at this is definitely male, electrical, and then magnetic, female, which I think also makes a lot of sense from an energy medicine perspective as well. And these are things that something like energy medicine, sound therapy, energy work would have in common with something like ritual magic or magic in general, but specifically magic with a K. The K makes it sexual. There's your hot tip. The K is the platform of the obelisk. Okay, so this is the don't tell anybody. So in magic, there is a pretty well-known ritual called the circulation of the body of light, and this was actually performed in the Golden Dawn. And it basically, tell me if this sounds like energy work to you. Energy is brought up from the feet through the body and to the spiritual center just above the head. It can go the other way as well. Flows through the currents, which naturally energize the body and are analogous to the meridians of traditional Oriental medicine, such as are used in acupuncture or something like shiatsu massage. The energy also flows wildly and with great force during sexual activity. Where the energy is flowing, it could be said to be electrical in nature, where it collects in power centers, chakras, etc. It could be said to be magnetic in nature. And what did we talk about? It was a couple months ago, we were talking about the heart and the magnet of the heart and how incredibly powerful that is and how massive the field is. The heart's electromagnetic field is the largest field in the system in your body. Okay, so then the third is, because we're talking about magic requires creation, manipulation, and direction of magical energy, and how the nature of magical energy is threefold. So the third is going to be spiritual. And by spiritual in nature, I'm not saying, we're not talking about like doing rituals for non-physical world ends. We're talking about, I'm thinking more about like thelemic and tantric notions of doing one's will. And this is like capital W will. So it doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means, and this is a big one, but you have to find out what your one true will is and then do that thing. I asked myself this question a couple of weeks ago. I was like, what is my one true will? Like, I need to check in with this. And I have been thinking about it ever since. It could be a really great prompt for some of us to just like write, to journal about it. And yeah, zeroing in on that is pretty critical because this is literally the spiritual aspect of this work that we're talking about in magic here. So we're talking about true will, not just hopes, not just ego fulfillments. We're talking about something that is in harmony with Goddess and harmony with your divinity. Finding what's appropriate for us to do, and then doing it. And this is like an ever evolving spiritual quest. So, that's why I'm saying I check back in, because what I might have thought was my one true will, like even, okay, I'm going to say even like a month ago would be different now, but I'm one of those people where it's like you could ask me yesterday and today and be like, though it could be, but that's kind of dramatic and extreme. I do feel like a different person in some ways from moment to moment, but it is important to recognize what you feel is appropriate to do for you that does kind of yoke you and doing that thing. So this is the spiritual aspect. And yeah, ever evolving. It's a quest. It's called the great work for a reason. It's not handed to any of us on a platter. So I have in my notes here, by definition, the true will is always in accord with the evolution of the universe. The universe not having an ego cannot be selfish. Doing one's will may involve doing magic, right? So, and that's what we're talking about here, are we not? How beautiful is that? So magic uses a psychosexual spiritual energy, and so does energy medicine and energy work and sound therapy, which really all of that stuff can be boiled and alchemized down into something like that you could call vibrational health, because everything jiggles and nothing stays still. Everything is constantly in motion. And regardless of if we're looking at light or sound, we're looking at movement and frequencies and rates of movement, right? So ultimately, all of those things, sound therapy and energy work, they all can kind of go into the basket of vibrational health, is one way to look at it. Okay, so another theorem, creation on the spiritual plane leads to creation on the physical plane. And I think that most of us already kind of like are on board with this, that what we are willing manifests into physical form. And sometimes it's easier to affect sense like a ritual success or success in magic is you're going to almost get like a better immediate result rather than trying to project something really far into the future. It's almost better to start by focusing on like what's here now, what you can affect, how you can affect small change, and then like build those blocks. So sometimes like having really like grandiose outcomes, they create a lot of space in between for chaos. And you kind of want to just like pull the arrow back and let it go. Just let that baby rip right into the eye of the target. When you start spacing things out a little bit, too far into the future, then what do we think is like going on in this? We have like our will, and then we have the will of a lot of other things and people also that can interfere, and it can create chaos. So I would just say, really focus on what's in front of you. How can you baby step and affect small change now? What does that look like for you? And are you able to do it every day? If possible, every day. Find the thing that you really, really, really want to change and get obsessed with it. Take the steps and do it every day. And then you just let go and you let the magic work. So we're not throwing magic out and then we're just like this the whole time, like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen like any minute now. No, you do the magic and you relax. You go with the flow and you let things find their equilibrium, and you trust in your process, and you trust in your power, and you trust in your magic. Magic is magic. Nobody talks about good electricity versus bad electricity, even though we know, that exists. But then we've got like all these different types of magic. We've got white magic, gray magic, black magic, red magic. And it's just kind of like, really, we're looking at it, we're removing all of that right now. So we're not going to hone in on these subtypes of magic. It's just magic as energy. Magic is magic. Magic is energy, and energy is magic. And magic is also, it's a science and an art. Like, somebody who's very naturally gifted in an art can do an art, but somebody who's very attuned scientifically can study and get really, really good and catch up to that person who's just naturally good at artistically. And then they can become really, really good at that same art and that same craft as that artist. So it really is about practice. Like most things, we want to get better, we want to be strong, and so we can be okay with just naturally being able to do some things. But if we put ourselves into it, we can affect even greater change. So that's the point I wanted to make on that. And when I mention sex magic, I'm not talking about the magic of sex. I feel like we can almost like separate these things from each other. I'm not talking about the magic of sex. We are talking about using energies in the body that are super potent and powerful sexual energies that we're able to manipulate for different purposes, for different magical purposes, for healing purposes, literally anything you can imagine. You can use your body's energy to perform body magic so that you can live a vital, beautiful, full life, really. Very fulfilling life without feeling like you're experiencing major taboo, you know? So we can get past that, because it's been so occulted. Even in magical orders, it's always like lingo about sex magic, and you're not allowed to talk about X, Y, and Z, and you get you get sued if you do. Wink, wink, Crowley. And then you become like head of the order, and everyone's like, "Oh, snaps!" Because you're so good at sex magic, and it's so powerful. But I digress. But yeah, it's so occulted. There's always like coded languaging, or was in the past, and it really doesn't have to be like that anymore. It's pretty straightforward in a lot of ways, and we can tap into the power of our bodies without feeling like, scared about it. And I'm not telling you guys to run off and start practicing sex magic until you do your homework. I'm just using it as an example for, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Taz knows this, but my microphone is in a copper cup because I still don't have a mic stand. Sorry, it fell. So I'm not saying rush out and like start practicing sex magic and ritual, because you want to do your homework and there's some stuff you got to understand first. But this energy is in you. It's in all of us. We all have access to it, and it can be used for healing and all kinds of other things. So since we're here to get relaxed, that's what we're focusing on today. And we're going to experience the sound that is separate from you in one way, but then thinking about how it is connecting with you and how you are a part of what is happening here, and that your body is so intelligent that it knows how to entrain itself. It knows when things are off, and it's constantly working to repair and support us the best way that it can, so that we can be vital and we can live these really beautiful lives. So I want to invite anyone who's comfortable to do this with me really quick. And it's going to be kind of weird because I'm not standing up, so I'm only going to do a couple of it, but I would like you to just experience what it feels like to do a little bit of like fingers on body approach. And this is something that you can practice every day. If you don't have something yet, you can practice this every day, and it's very, very simple. But it's just going to activate different meridians, and it's going to be very like grounding, and it's just tapping. So what you can do if you want to participate, if you're in a safe place where you can do this because you don't need your hands, then you can make like little notches with your fingers. You can also not do that and just do like this. You can touch your body or not touch your body. You can go out into the field for some of this. And the amount of pressure that you use is completely up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. There's no contest about who can like thump their bodies the hardest here to activate meridian points. So whatever you're comfortable with and whatever feels really nourishing for you is what I want you to do. We're going to start in the first place. So between your heart chakra and your throat chakra, whoop, is a half step right here, but this is also over your thymus. So we're going to tap here for 3 breaths. And I invite you to just sense in, take a nice deep breath, exhale through your mouth. 2 more breaths like that. Good. Then we're going to come up to the collarbone, and then you're going to drop down, and there's a little indentation here. This is a part of the kidney meridian, and we're going to tap here for 3 breaths. Same way, in the nose, out the mouth. Good. Now, this next one, we're going to drop down to the side of your body, like where a woman's sports bra strap might be, around here in the ribs. And you can tap here for 3 breaths. And you can move it around all over the rib. There's awesome points here that you can tap into. And this is a part of the spleen meridian. And the energy of the spleen meridian is really great. Remember your breathing. In the nose, out the mouth for 3 breaths. Spleen is really great for integrating. It's integrating your meals, integrating your experiences, your conversations, your emotions. If you have a big conversation and you want to work to integrate it, to move through that, then working with spleen is a great way to do it. You can shake your hands off. Then we're coming to the orbital bone underneath the irises, and the orbital bone right here is a part of the stomach meridian. And this is very grounding. So for 3 breaths. Good. Shake off your hands. And since we're seated, we're going to do a crossover, but we're going to do it from the shoulders. Normally I do this in like a marching stance. So you're going to put your right hand on your left shoulder. You're going to squeeze the shoulder, and then you're going to slice through down to the opposite hip. Okay, so squeeze, slice. You don't have to make the noise I made, but just do that for like 3 times. Other side, left hand, right shoulder. In times of stress, our energies can start to move homolaterally, but those energies of our body may actually work best when they cross over, like this. So energy has to move. That's the first rule of energy. We talked about that, right? It will find a way to move, but it's not going to be optimal. So things like this crossover, this is really helpful to remind your body that we want to be crossing our energies over appropriately to maximize so we don't feel so tired and sluggish all the time, you know? So at the end of the day, we can feel proud about what we did, proud about what we accomplished, and not totally wrecked by it. Okay. Check in with how you're feeling, what you noticed. I'll do a separate video for this whole exercise so you guys can just watch a 3-minute. So don't worry about having to come back through here. Good. Feels good. Yep. Loving on that body. Tearing it off. Good stuff. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the 174 hertz fork. And drilling and relaxed sounds divine. And then invite you to, if you're in a safe place, you can close your eyes. It's really good if you're not going to be disturbed for the next little while. Someone with bass is around here rattling my windows. I don't know if you hear it. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in your nose, exhaling out of your mouth. Couple breaths like that, and I'd like you to visualize filling your belly with air. So we're not breathing into the shoulders, we're not breathing into the chest, filling your belly with air. Uncross your legs. I was about to say it, Taz. Uncross your legs. If you have shoes on, kick them off. If you're laying down, fine. All great. You can uncross your legs. I know some people in here don't like being told to uncross their legs, but uncross them. Take a nice deep breath. Visualize filling your belly nice and full. And then exhale devotedly. Visualizing the exhalation going down, exiting your tailbone or bottom of your feet, going back into the earth. Just a couple nice, relaxing breaths. And really tuning into that lower body as you exhale. What does it feel like for your breath to go down the legs and exit through your feet? Okay, interesting. I'm going to remind everybody also to just notice what you're noticing when it comes up for you. If you notice any tension, then just go ahead and breathe into that place. Allow it to release. If you can't hear the forks super well, it's still working for you. Don't worry about it. I'll do my best to get them close to the mic. Okay. All right, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, some of you maybe need a reminder to take a breath. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. We are in a safe space here. There's no voodoo happening, and everybody is exactly where they need to be. You're not going to be seen in a way that is negative. Nobody's getting called out for anything here. We're just here to relax. So take a nice deep breath, let it go, open up some space for yourself to receive. We're just receiving goodness right now. That's a little better. Nice job. Keep breathing into it. Good. Really get into your feet. I'm feeling like some of us are very much in the hamster wheel of the mind, and we don't need to be there right now. I give you permission to completely stop thinking and just really go down into what it feels like to be in your body right now. Go down into your feet and see how much space you can fill up in your feet. See how much you can feel. What does it feel like to bring your awareness all the way down your body, all the way down your legs past your knees, down your lower legs, past your ankles, into the heel of your foot, the arch of your foot, into your toes. You could practice filling just your big toe with your awareness and see how much you can pack in there. All right, so you can practice that if you would like to. Good. You're doing really good. Keep breathing. And that exhalation through the mouth is super important. And I'll tell you why, because when we're breathing in the nose, out the nose, there's a cycle happening here. There's a circuit, and it's also a building circuit. So in certain types of breath work, we're building, we're charging energy up through the breath. With tension, anxiety, fear, and stress, when those things are being noticed in the body, we really want to release it and break that circuit. Break the circuit, send a message through the exhalation of your mouth. I feel like some of us just feel like screaming sometimes, maybe right now a little bit. And though maybe we can't all do that because we're not in places where we feel super comfortable doing that, we can still make noise, even if it's a quiet noise. We can still make some kind of noise. Even if on your next few exhales, you're sighing, if you can do that, then that might really help us to break through some of the stickiness that we're hearing in the fork. We're going to hear it brighten. But for now, I really want to create a little more space through voice. So a nice something toning anything. Ready? Because I'm talking to you exhale the venom. Exhale anything that you feel needs to get off your chest. Okay? Keep going if you can. Make some noises. Wiggle if you feel like you want to wiggle, wiggle. You can receive however you need to receive right now, okay? There's no right way to do this. You don't have to stay perfectly still. You don't have to be quiet. You can get up and move around. You can go take a pee, whatever. Like, we're not going to interrupt anything. Okay, good. Nice. Hey, whatever you're doing is working. It's working. Beautiful. I'm getting a message of like vigilance. What does that mean? Sometimes when we don't feel super comfortable in our bodies, it's hard to relax, to really let go. And so sometimes there's like a hypervigilance. It's like I can relax, but I kind of still have to have this much control. So we're going to sit with this 222 hertz fork is awesome for just like being held and sat with. So we're going to try this for a moment, and then we'll pop back. Breathe in nose, out of your mouth. Nice grounding breath. Even if it feels like the world isn't safe, we are safe. It can create space for more safety, more sense of security, foundational support. Okay. Good. Now, if any of this is relating to you, I invite you to just give yourself a hug, honestly. You can do, just a nice little hug on your arms. You can rub your arms, your upper arms up and down if you want to. You can rock side to side. This gentle movement is really, really nice for nervous system regulation. Kind of reminds us of being in the womb. So you can do that while we continue. Nice. Good. Very good. Nice. Really big difference. Much more clear. Bright. Okay, so what I feel like I want to do for us is I want to do a little adjustment underneath all of our feet to really give us that extra plug-in of grounding. And it's going to help us to move forward feeling like we really can feel the earth under our feet, like we know where we're going. And maybe we have a little more confidence about that, those steps that we're taking. Might feel some sensations while I work down here. It's not unusual to feel tingling, temperature changes. Oof, I'm feeling them now. I feel like we've heated up a couple degrees. I'm working on, your body has so many different energy centers. Like we know the 7 major chakras, but good one. But there's also many minor energy centers. And right now I'm working with one of those. And it actually lives off of your body, but can tuck in when we're stressed out or experiencing things that maybe make us feel like we're not so grounded. Maybe we're in our heads. I'm just dragging it down to its happy place. Take a nice deep breath. Notice what you're noticing in your body. What are you noticing in your body while we are working here? Just beneath your feet. Nice. Good. So I'm going to hang out here with this little energy center called the Earth Star. And I'm just stabilizing it in this space where it wants to live. Yeah, things are sounding really calm and really nice. Maybe you could visualize even what your Earth Star energy center might look like to you. I think this is really fun to do. Does it have a color? Does it have a texture? Does it illuminate or does it not? What does it feel like? Does it move? Like, does it spin or is it stationary? Yeah, sometimes our Earth Star energy center hasn't even introduced itself. So this is a really good time to kind of tune in while we're working here in this space and see if you can visualize what your Earth Star energy center looks like so you can get better acquainted. And I find that by becoming better acquainted, occasionally in moments of anxiety and stress and fatigue, you can check in through visualization and you can talk to your energies aloud or quietly or silently. And you can open a dialogue where you can affect change for yourself. Okay, good. This sounds nice. So now in the next few activations of the fork, I'm going to be checking in with the central channel that runs up through your body, penetrating flow, bi-directional current of energy that is constantly flowing up and down simultaneously. And this is where the main chakras that most of us are familiar with live, and they're kind of like hanging out around the spine, right? And they also are bi-directional vortices. So they're going in and out, they're taking in, they're expelling constantly. We're just checking in on this central channel as we pass through the space to open up flow a little bit for everybody here. Beautiful spinning, sounds lovely. I think that each one of ours is totally unique and beautiful in its own way. Pulsing. Sometimes they have texture. Good. Nice. Lots of throat stuff coming up. Sensations. Can be, thought forms and patterns having to do with speaking and not being heard or not saying, the thing you actually want to say, holding back, feeling like you're not allowed to have a voice. But I think, we outgrow those patterns. And there's a time where we can really step into our power and realize that the world doesn't exist to like us. The world doesn't exist to be our friend. But we exist to be uniquely ourselves and to strive every day to be more and more authentically ourselves, regardless of if we always say the right thing. Right? That fear of misspeaking or being misunderstood ends up being really unfair. It's unfair for us, and it's unfair for those who are closest to us as we hold back and even sometimes potentially become resentful for feeling not understood when we're not allowing ourselves to be a full, unique expression of who, we're meant to be. This soup of us, the soup of you, the soup of me. And I can feel all of this hanging out in the throat chakra space. So if this is resonating with you, anything I'm saying here, I invite you to take a nice deep inhale and exhale out of your mouth and make a noise. I realize it doesn't feel safe for all of us to express freely. And we can give ourselves grace while we integrate what that means for us individually, right? So this doesn't have to be scary, but I do, if we just because this is old information too, like really old information, old waveforms of information, just cycling and coming back up. This probably isn't even us now. It's probably not even us today. This is old stuff that starts moving. So if we can just make some noises and wiggle our bodies a little bit to help things move, then I think that would be really great. Good. Keep going if you can for one or two more. See what we got here. Shed that old stuff. Be like the snake. Be reborn. Release the old. Release those holding patterns of stagnation. Give yourself permission to perform in new ways, because we are all artists, we are all creators, we all are humans, we are all performers, and we choose to perform in patterns that are most comfortable for us based on what we've learned through our youth, typically. It's okay to perform in new ways. It's okay to try on new hats. It's okay to discover for yourself what fits today that didn't fit yesterday, and see what it feels like. We're open and we're curious. And through being open and curious, we access greater ease for cultivating a deeper sense of awareness. You're doing really good. Exhale through the mouth. You're doing great. Good. Very good. Yeah. So we moved over to the 144. It's a powerful structural type of work. So the body buzz that you're mentioning, feeling that one. All part of the process. Good. Nice. Okay. Really good, guys. We're almost there. I can feel it. I want to feel a completion of us traveling all the way through that central channel. I want to feel the fork. I want to hear the fork being really bright and clear. And I'm sensing in for that feeling of us going all the way through out the top of the crown of the head. I'm not quite there yet. We're almost there. Whew, ooh. Things are moving. On these next couple activations of the fork here, for your next few breaths as well, I want you to visualize the frequency, the sound of the fork going through your body and exiting out the top of your head, kind of like a whale spout, and then just like showering down over and coating your field. So can you guys do this one? We're going to do a couple activations. Ready? Nice. Good job, guys. Whew. Ha, hee ha, hee ha, hee ha. Make a little noise if you're feeling tension in your chest. Nice deep breath. Bring it back into your body. If you're going back up into your head, I want you in that beautiful body of yours, feeling what you're experiencing. Nice. Good. Good. We're peeling off layers. I feel like we're peeling layers. Oh, so beautiful. Good job. Okay, good. Nice. Coming back to the 222. Can wiggle your toes and your hands, fingers. You might even feel like you have wanted to put your hands on your body somewhere, maybe on your stomach or your heart. Now would be a nice time to stack your hands on your heart. Oh, I don't like that one. It was me, not you guys. Bad activation. Good. So wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. If your eyes are closed, you can open them, keeping a low gaze towards you, the lower part of the room, towards your toes, towards the floor. You can also do a little, before you open your eyes, you can do a little rubbing of your hands together, cupping your palms, putting them over your eyes with your fingers draped into your hairline, thumbs on your temple. You can take 3 breaths here. Really beautiful for the nervous system, for the brain, for the eyes. And when you feel complete, you can release and shake off your hands. Oh, good. I see that you guys are feeling relaxed, grounded, calm. I know a lot of people come in here on the lives and they fall asleep. So I never want to keep you guys long afterwards. But I'm always, if anyone has questions, if anyone has questions, I'm here to answer those for you. And I'll give everybody just like a moment to come back into the space if they want to. You're not obligated to. If you're relaxed right now and you don't want to open your eyes, you don't want to sit up, then don't do it if you don't have to. This is your moment. Great. I feel like everyone feels complete. Everyone's relaxed. I hope that you will keep in mind some of the things that we discussed earlier and see what comes up for you that you can apply towards your personal magic. And I personally cannot wait to see what you do. So I will see you next month for November's Dreaming Temple. Thank you all so much. It really does mean just so much that you guys come to this every month to explore with me. So I can't thank you enough. So thank you. And I will see you very, very soon.